Hey everyone, I'm Richard. This is Grey Wizard Gaming, and today I'm doing a review of Marvel Champions, the card game. Now, I have a bad habit of buying all of a game when I know nothing about it, just because I think it looks cool. I am a sucker for the cover defining the book, and a lot of times that means that I end up with expansions that just sit on the shelves, never being played, because I don't really like the game itself that much. I don't know if that's you, but that's me. So I was good about this one. We bought the core game plus Doctor Strange because I cosplay as Doctor Strange, visits kids in hospitals, stuff like that for a charity. And we played. I had a huge amount of fun. So I have since bought all of the expansions that they sell. This mat and I think an organizer, which should be here soon, but everything. And I want to talk to you about it. So hopefully I can get more of you to buy the game and then they can get more expansions. It's a very selfish thing here, guys. I want you to love this game as much as I do so that I get more stuff to buy. Now, if you've played Sentinels of the Multiverse before, then you have a basic idea how this gameplay works. So you each choose a deck. And in this case, like I'm holding Iron Man, it's an asymmetric kind of gameplay where your hero defines how you play. And the base game comes with a few Iron Man, Spider-Man, She-Hulk, and you are gonna have a very different game experience if you choose a character like Spider-Man, who comes off a little bit more of kind of a bard. He kind of buffs other people, and in the act of buffing other people and defending other people, he gets stuff that he can then buff more other people. Meanwhile, you have Iron Man, who is... I didn't play Iron Man. I think he mostly does damage. I think he's aggression. So Iron Man is all about doing damage. And Doctor Strange, on the other hand, is about protection. So he gives a bunch of things to protect other people. After people choose their character, which defines their role, kind of like a D&D game or something, right? Are you the tank? Are you the mage? Are you whoever? After you define your role, then you're going to choose your villain. And the villain, for example, like Ultron, he has his main plot. And that mostly constitutes summoning a bunch of drones. Those drones get more powerful. And each round, you're going to try to fight off as many of the drones, if it's Ultron, and then ultimately stop Ultron from doing his plots long enough that you ultimately can defeat him faster than he can complete his goals. As you're doing things, it's going to put on extra like little tokens. Like this is a side scheme. So these kind of like come out and make it more difficult for you to stop the main goal. Like most cooperative games, things pretty much, they start out good and then very quickly things seem overwhelming. And if you don't keep things under control, if you don't work together, everything falls apart and you lose. And it is a tough game. It's definitely, it's a game that it can seem like things are under control, but then you have like a bad round because you've used up all of your cards to like, I don't know, defeat the minions. And suddenly you realize, wait a minute, we're already moving to the next step of the scheme. And we've only got three schemes. So the game's almost over, in the wrong way against you. So the game itself it's pretty full. I mean, it's got all the things that Fantasy Flight Games does. Like, it has the learn to play. It has the rules reference. This is pretty traditional in most Fantasy Flight games. The comes with these cool hit point trackers. And so, whoops, and you track the hit points just like normal. You have a big giant one to represent the villain. And, same thing. You just turn the dials to represent the hit points. You could use dice or whatever, but the tokens they're just extra, right? You got these kind of like cool, kind of like looks like comic book tokens. Let's see, what is this? Tough. Whoops. Stunned. Confused. You've got quite a few different main villains in the main box, and then you have the ability to purchase more hero packs. Like, again, I bought Doctor Strange, Captain America, Black Widow, Ms. Marvel. Then there's some more scenarios that kind of change the game up. More different villains, so like Wrecking Crew, Green Goblin. And each of these things are going to allow you to have a very different gaming experience as a hero, or a very different challenge level as you try to figure out, well, okay, with Ultron, you have to keep the drones under control. The more you kill the drones, the longer Ultron has, because you're not attacking Ultron. So you have to balance killing these things faster than he gets to make them like go crazy, upgrade, super powerful, and take over the world, whatever. On the other hand, Green Goblin's going to have different strategies he plays, and so it's going to change your tempo and what you need to do to survive. It might also change which heroes work the best against particular scenarios or particular villains. Now, what isn't necessarily as good as Sentinels of the Multiverse? Well, Sentinels of the Multiverse has a much more extreme level of asymmetry, meaning that each hero in Sentinels of the Multiverse is extremely different. And that can mean that if you have, like I have, I think like 30 different heroes for Sentinels of the Multiverse, that's like 30 different games. And it is cool and unique and different. Here, even though I've only so far played Doctor Strange, I saw how Thor plays, I saw how Iron Man plays, and how Spider-Man plays. And I felt like they did have very different games, but it was more like 80-20, where the kind of things they did were more similar to me than I noticed in Sentinels of the Multiverse. Now, on the other hand, Sentinels of the Multiverse gets really crazy. And it's so complex with the number of effects that come out on the board. Whereas here, with only the 3, I feel like it is very reasonable. Like I said, in this game, the different heroes feel the same, or not same, like similar, because there's only so many different things you can do. Whereas Sentinels of the Multiverse is so dramatically different. But the problem with that is that Sentinels of the Multiverse has a really high cognitive debt that just makes me tired at the end of a game. Honestly, it does. You have so many things to keep track of, and the villain is so different, and the villain's doing all these things, and you have got all these status effects, and it's like, oh, are you doing fire damage? Are you doing this damage? And like, oh, you have a bonus if you have multiple types of damage, and I don't know, it just gets really hard to keep track of, so much so that I have not taken any of my Sentinels cards out of their boxes in years. It's not that I don't play it, but I play it on Steam, and we do just pass and play with, like, pass a mouse between us. That way there's a computer keeping track of all the effects. Here, it is just the right balance between simplicity and asymmetry. Now, why do I like this enough to buy a whole bunch more of this, even though like it's not as complex, and you guys know that I like complex games? It's the brand. If this was any other superhero platform other than Marvel, I would not be as so gung-ho about it. Being able to play Doctor Strange and feeling like I'm casting spells on people, and it feels like that in the game, makes me happy. I like themes, I like brands, I like franchises, and this is great. The negative, for some reason, they stuffed all their mutants in a different game that is also a card game, but it has cardboard tokens. And I don't know why, guys. I'm really grumpy about it. I want all the characters in both games. That's not too much to ask. Let's have Wolverine and Cyclops and Nightcrawler in this game. I will still buy them. And then they should go ahead and stick some of these characters over there in that game, because I promise you, if that game is anywhere near as good as this game, I will be buying it too with all of those expansions. All right, guys. Let me know what you think about the Marvel Heroes game, and or if you've played Sentinels of the Multiverse, do you still play it? Do you like the computer game? Just let me know. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.